Hi, and welcome to Penn Central 99's channel. This is my first video of 2014, so before I get started, I'd like to wish everybody a Happy New Year. I didn't get a holiday or Christmas or December video out last month, so I just want to start off the new year by thanking everybody for subscribing and thanking everybody for watching my videos, and most importantly, happy and prosperous new year. Today we're at the layout because I'm going to be laying some track. I have stated in the past that I was going to do some video series or video logs. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be constructing or rebuilding the outer loop of Sidewinder Junction. I don't know if you remember from past videos, but on my track diagram, the outer junction, as you can see, runs on this edge here. The inner line is wide off for the interchange and on dropping cars off. And then there's an inner loop. But like I said, today we're going to be working on the outer line, the outer main of Sidewinder Junction. And we're going to be reusing some of this existing track. But in addition, I've got some more turnouts here that need to be laid. And in order to do that, some of the tools that we're going to need, as you can see, we're going to be using latex caulk to hold the track down. So in order to apply that, we need a caulking gun. Some people use credit cards or other thin pieces of styrene to spread their caulk, but what I use is a putty knife. And I don't know if you noticed or not, but my putty knife is about the same width of the track ties. So when I spread it, I'm spreading it about the same width. But some of the other tools and things that we're going to need are thumbtacks, and I use flathead thumbtacks. I don't use the push pin thumbtacks because they stick up. Because when I need to apply weight to it, I don't want anything in the way to hold the track down. Some of the other things is a straight edge, and I'll show you later what we're going to use the straight edge for when we're laying back, or when we're laying the track. And like I said, we're going to need some weight, so what I did is I grabbed some bricks from the backyard that we're going to be used to weight this down. These yardsticks you see laying here will be used. Instead of putting the bricks right down on top of the track and taking a chance for damage, I use the yardsticks to lay flat on top of the track, and then I put the brick on top of the yardstick to help hold that in place. What we're going to do is we're going to take out this temporary track. This section here is nothing more than flex track, and I just put it there so I could run trains, but I'm going to be removing this flex track, and there's two 3-foot sections all the way back to this point here. I know that the beam here probably is in the way of the view, but I'm going to be replacing the track all the way back to here, which includes 3 turnouts or 3 switches. I should say turnouts, switches is another term. But I'm going to put a turnout, a right-hand turnout here because we're going to go into a siding, another turnout and another turnout, because these inner ones here, which is already in place, is going to go to the center track for the dropping off cars. Some of the things that I'm going to start doing, especially with laying turnouts, is removing these plastic ties. I don't recall ever seeing any railroad tracks where they use ties in a cross section like this to join rail together. So I've already pre-cut these underneath here. So I'm just going to remove them. One, they don't look very realistic. And we can substitute other ties back in underneath the track, gets set and is dried. Plus, when I go to solder the wires on, the chances of melting the ties are a lot slimmer now since they're not in the way. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove this stuff because to me they don't look very realistic anyway. But what you need to watch out for is to make sure that the tips do not get out of gauge. So when you're laying them down, you need a track gauge for that. The other thing that I like to do before I put the glue down is you need to mark where the tips of the switch are, because you don't want to glue that down, because if you do or caulk it down, it'll never move. So just lay that in place, and I take a Sharpie pen and just mark the outside ties where that is, so I know not to lay caulk in that area so it doesn't glue it, or it doesn't hold it in place. This turnout is already permanently attached. It was applied during a couple of sessions ago, and as you can see, I've already got the ballast in up here too. It helps hold the track down. Now, when applying the caulk, you just want to apply a thin bead, probably no bigger than a 1/4 inch in diameter, in the middle of your road bed. And remember, the marks that I made were the moving parts of the turnout, or we don't want to apply caulk to that. So I'm just going to stop short because this is the end of the turnout. I've already measured it. And when you spread that bead out, a nice thin surface, you don't need a whole lot, you just need something to hold it in place. And don't feel bad when you see it gaps like that because of the pressure on the caulk gun. And like I say, just using your putty knife or credit card or styrene or whatever, just apply that in a nice thin layer. You can see how that spreads out and thins out. And since this is a turnout, I want to apply a little bit there also. Come back the other way a little bit. And you can see how this thins out. A little bit up here on the opposite side of the turnout. Nice little bead. Doesn't take much. Apply it thin. The other nice thing about caulk is, you know, it's got some set time. You know, it's not like it's contact cement or adhesive that gives you only a couple of seconds to work with. But in 24 hours, this will be pretty permanent. And like I say, you don't need much just to hold it in place. You just need something. Some rail joiners. Now what you can do is use a knife to slide the rail joiners in place. And when you do this, go from the outside, because when you work on the inside you have a chance on messing or bending things, and remember that's where the wheels run, on the inside, and you don't want to take any chance on causing damage. Don't have to be perfect. And like I say, I'm going to come back and solder feeder wires on here. Flathead thumbtack because I just want to hold it in place. Especially to get the until I get the weight on there. And the thumbtack is to keep it from moving left and right, not necessarily up and down. The brick setup or whatever weight you use is going to keep that from moving up and down. Okay, once again, a nice bead of caulk. Yeah, I just happen to be using a white latex caulk. Some people use clear. They don't want it to show through after they ballast. To me it doesn't matter because I'm going to spray paint and the track and the road bed anyway. Spreads that out nice and thin. And like I say, all you need is a thin layer. Okay, for us this is relatively easy because this is a straight section of track here. Yeah, I'm just going to gently lay this down into the caulk. Like I say, you have a couple of minutes to get it to set. Try and line up the rail joiners about half. Nice and smooth. Okay, we're going to come back and actually what I'm going to do here is I'm going to gap it. A little bit of expansion. I got a plastic card here. I'm going to use the plastic card to gap it. I remember I said it was using thumbtacks to hold it in place and talked about a straight edge earlier. Well, here's where the straight edge comes in handy. You want to use your straight edge to line up the track. And now I can hold that in place. It's going to be nice and straight all the way down. Yeah, just using the thumbtacks to keep it from moving left and right. I've already applied the other turnout, and this mound of caulk that you see here is just excess from spreading it out for the straight stretch here. There's no need to apply more caulk. I can just spread this excess out here. Now if I don't have enough, I can spread more, but as you can see, that just spreads right out. There we have the the last turnout in place. Just gonna, like I say, use some thumbtacks to hold that in place until I get the weight on there. 24 hours from now, it'll be pretty much set. And here's a straight shot looking down the track that we just laid. You can see the benefits of using a straight edge. That straight section is just that, straight. One thing that you can do before you start putting the weights on it, letting it set for a day to adhere, is you can take a test car and run it through everything that you just laid. Now this turnout was existing, so what we did is we added this one, that piece of flex track up there, and 2 more switches at the other end. But you can run a car through there and see how it works. Seems to run fine. And if you need to make any adjustments, go back and do so. And I guess one of the things that I should have told you what we were using is these are number 4 turnouts, left and right. They're Atlas number 4s, no rocket science there. This is a piece of flex track. So that's pretty much the items that we were using today. Okay, the last thing that we need to do is we need to put some weight on this track to help the caulk adhere it or hold it down. So like I say, I like using a yardstick. One, it helps protect the rails from whatever weights that you use. So just go ahead and set this on here. It's going to take about 24 hours for that caulk to set, but at the end of that, she'll be pretty well in place, and then the ballast that you apply will help hold it down also. Another nice thing about using a yardstick is it helps distribute the weight, plus it's flat instead of having uneven surfaces. Nice smooth flat surface for equal weight distribution. Well, that pretty much does it for this session of building Sidewinder Junction. I hope you learned something and I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, thanks for watching.